Hey friends, it's Kirsten. Welcome back to another video. I am finally doing this well-requested video about how to learn choreography faster. This could be choreography as in combinations in class or in rehearsals. No matter what, I think all of us dancers know the value of being a fast learner and how confidence building that is, and how confidence destroying it is when you feel like you're not good at that. So, in this video, I'm going to give you some practical tips and strategies to become the fastest learner that you could possibly be. And first, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is okballet.com. I love that they sell Zerily tights specifically, which, by the way, you could click the link down below and get $10 off your first order of Zerily tights from okballet.com. The reason I love Zerily tights so much, and I'm thrilled to be promoting them, is that not only are they aesthetically really beautiful, I love the colors. I think they have the perfect tones of pink tights, and then also the black tights look really great. I think they're that perfect. They have the perfect like sheer / opaque kind of blend. I hate it when black tights are like too opaque because they're not flattering. I find all of Zerily tights extremely flattering, and they also have that wonderful compression technology that allows you to kind of get over that excess inflammation in your legs that builds up when you're dancing all day, you're standing around like me as a teacher, or in rehearsals as a pre-professional or professional dancer or recreational dancer, it doesn't matter. Zerily tights are perfect for any dancer who wants to feel better in their legs by the end of the day, have a faster recovery time after a long day of dancing, and to feel and look great. So I would highly recommend checking out any of the Z1, Z2 models for either performance tights or just regular class, or the Z3 recovery model, they have an added level of compression, and you could wear them with a stylish outfit, some black tights with a skirt or a dress, and you're gonna be able to like recover way faster from rehearsals or from a performance. I've worn these to a cast party and I thought they looked amazing, and I was shocked that I could wear heels at the end of a long day of dancing and then at the end of the night feel fine. So I would highly recommend checking out and purchasing some Zerily tights for yourself. And again, thank you okballet.com for sponsoring this video. So I'm going to present my tips in 5 different steps that hopefully for you makes it really simple to apply these tips and become a lot more efficient and faster at learning. The first one is eliminate the mental chatter. We all know that if you're having all this self-talk inside of your head, whether it's positive or negative, especially if it's negative, you're going to be so distracted. All of a sudden you hear like, okay, and like the teacher's about to turn on the music and you're like, what, huh? You're just in your own little world talking to yourself. Who's been there? Give me a comment. Give me a little me emoji, because I've totally been there. My best tip and strategy for overcoming this is using a technique called Hakalau, also called peripheral vision, which peripheral vision I think is a lot more descriptive of what this is. So basically, you can practice it right now. As you look at your phone or the computer screen, just kind of take your eyes and look to a point straight out ahead of you at eye level, maybe on the wall, and then take your gaze up about 20 degrees while keeping your head forward. And as you focus on one point kind of far away, notice that your awareness expands all the way to the outside of you, to where if you were to take your hands to the side of your face and wiggle your fingers, you could see them, your fingers wiggling in your peripheral vision. Basically, what this is doing is it's getting you not only into a relaxed state where you're training your mind to take in what is all going on around you instead of putting your focus in your, what is it called? There's peripheral vision, there is foveal vision. There we go. Foveal vision is like very direct, very focused, very inward, very kind of small in your gaze. When you're in foveal vision, you tend to be a lot more concentrated on what's happening in your mind. When you're in peripheral vision, you're able to sense the room around you a lot better. You're able to get out of your head and focus on, okay, what does it feel like to be in the room? What is the tone of the teacher's voice? What are they doing? You're able to just take that focus outwards and eliminate that mental chatter. So try it, you guys. Just next time you go into ballet class, watch the teacher. As you watch them demonstrate, just feel like grounded in your body, look at them, and then notice that your vision extends into your complete periphery. And then notice how you're a lot more calm. There's not so much mental chatter, and you're able to take in the information much better. This is also what some athletes call the zone. They might just not even know they're doing peripheral vision. Step 2 is find your learning style. And I'm going to break down 4 different types of learning styles that most all of us exhibit in varying different degrees. Know that we're not going to be all visual, or if you say, like me, I'm an auditory learner primarily, that doesn't mean I am only auditory. And so I think it's kind of like, we can't treat this like a personality test where you get like really obsessed with your type and you're like, that type is all I am. No, we all, unless you're blind or deaf, keep an open mind, know that you're going to use all of these different learning styles at different given points in time. And also how you learn is one thing, but also you might notice that you recall information in the way that it was taught to you. So that's just another factor to consider. But we have obviously the visual learning style. You learn by seeing. Auditory, you learn by hearing, very simple. Kinesthetic, you learn by feeling or trying things in your own body. And then 4th, this is one that not everyone talks about, it's auditory digital. That is basically a fancy term for you are a logical learner and you learn through self-talk or having to talk through things logically. You might notice if you're auditory digital that you repeat things to yourself. Maybe you mouth the words. Maybe you hear the teacher say something and then you're telling yourself over again what they said. You're probably an auditory digital learner. I'm definitely this way. There are also many other dimensions or factors of learning styles that other assessments or researchers address, but I think these are the 4 simplest, most crucial ones to recognize. Now, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a test to assess what your primary learning style might be. So just listen to these questions and the 4 prompts that I am going to share with you, and you can pause this video as the answers pop up on the screen and just write down A, B, C, or D. Rank number 1 what you most associate to, and then 2, 3, and 4. Sorry, I'm going to be looking down a lot in this video. I wanted it to be very structured. Okay, first, notice when you find yourself recalling choreography, maybe in class or from rehearsal, do you A, hum the music back to yourself to remember the steps, B, close your eyes or look up as you try to remember what the steps look like, or C, do you start marking a section of the choreography that you know and feeling it out in your body so that the steps you're trying to remember naturally come out? And lastly, D, do you pause and think logically, maybe talking to yourself inwardly or outwardly to recall what the next steps might be logically? All right, pause on the screen and take a second to rank your answers. Okay, and then phase 2 of discovering your learning style. My other question has to do with noticing the way that your favorite teacher to learn from gives you the information. Because if we think of the teachers we learn from the easiest and how they're kind of sharing the information with you, that might really expose how you like to receive information as well. Ask yourself, what is the teacher doing that makes it so easy to learn? And here are the 4 options I came up with. A, do they almost sing out the combination as they show it, perhaps snapping the rhythm as they say the steps, with the quality of voice that indicates the quality of movement they want? B, do they demonstrate the combinations full out enough to see how you should be doing it? And maybe you don't really care if the teacher's just counting 1 through 8, as long as they show the steps to the rhythm they want. C, does this teacher encourage you to mark the steps with them and try at least once before doing them full out? Do they also, as an added bonus, use a lot of adjectives or descriptive words about the steps that describe how the movements should feel when you do them? And lastly, does the teacher logically explain what you're doing, how you should do it, and why it's important to do it such and such a way? All right, so pause and rank your answers again. Okay, so decoding your answers, you can probably guess this. Any time that you ranked A highest, that indicates that you prefer auditory learning. B indicates that you prefer visual learning. C is kinesthetic, and D indicates that you prefer auditory digital learning, which again is learning through logic, reason, and self-talk. Okay, step 3 out of this whole thing. Now that you have hopefully gotten clearer on your learning style, it's really important to then assess your teacher's teaching styles. No matter if you learn really well from this teacher or not well at all, it is so important to learn how to assess any teacher's teaching style so that you can start to fill in the gaps in how they're teaching you and assimilate that learning into your body, the choreography into your body, in a way that's easy for you to learn and retain. Few teachers master the art of connecting with all learning styles as they demonstrate the combinations. Many teachers will either demonstrate and count, which will engage the visual learners. These are teachers who they're going to show mostly full out, and they just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or if it's phrases of 6 and 6, you know, but they're not going to be very rhythmic. They're not going to be very musical. They're just showing. Then next, some teachers show the combination in time with the musicality that they desire, but they don't demonstrate very well. So these might be teachers that say, and ton do 1, and a 2, and a 3, close 4. And maybe they're more elderly or injured, who knows. I noticed a lot of elderly teachers learn how to use their voice and to be kind of auditory teachers because teaching visually and demonstrating is really hard for them at that point. So maybe that's going on with your teachers. And then some teachers will stop a lot as they demonstrate and explain what they want from the students and how they should do it and why it's important and give all these breakdowns and logical lessons. And for a few learners, that really connects with them. Not everyone, because it does create a fragmented focus. If you see that, the teacher might be very auditory digital. And then some teachers, lastly, with kinesthetic, like they are going to use a lot of sensory words. They're going to like feel everything in their body and like exude the energy that they want you to feel when you dance, you know? And they're going to use a lot of sensory words that are like, and this is going to be like a mushy plie. Oh, personally, I do not like this. Makes me kind of uncomfortable, but you know, a lot of teachers do it. Now, recognize that none of these are wrong. Each of these facets of connecting with different learners are great ways to transmit information, but I found that the most successful way to teach students and to help them assimilate what you're trying to show them or teach them is to connect with as many learning styles at one time as possible. And actually, let me know in the comment section down below if you are a ballet teacher and you would like me to make a video about how to teach in a way that connects with all the different learning styles, because I'm actually about to deliver a live presentation in another town in Texas this weekend. I'm gonna go travel there, present to the teachers there, do a training on, from my expertise in neuro-linguistic programming, I've developed this workshop on how to teach students and connect with all learning styles in a way that motivates them without using things like fear and shame or just very negatively keyed words to get the point across. So if you're a teacher and you want more videos on teaching like that, let me know. Step 4. For you dancers out there, this is to be adaptable. This step really first must start with recognizing how your teacher is trying to teach you. So if they're just visual and you're noticing that that is not connecting with you, like here's my personal example. Teachers that only teach visually, I have a really hard time learning from them, even though I consider myself to be a fast learner. And I think that positive belief also helps me learn faster. That's why mindset is so important, you people. Okay, but anyway, step off the soapbox, step off. When I see a teacher who is just demonstrating full out, but they are not keeping up with the rhythm, they're not hardly even counting very well, it's not musical at all. The whole time, nothing is like really clicking with me. So what I have to do is I have to watch them and from the get-go notice like, oh, they're teaching for visual learners. Okay, I'm not so much of a visual learner, so here's what I do. I watch them, and as I'm watching them, in my head, I'm like going, and ton do 1, ton do 2, and 3, and 4. I'm like trying to sense the rhythm they're dancing to. So I'm like singing a little song to myself or talking to myself in my head while I'm also marking with my body and feeling that rhythm in my body. So my visual learning capacity is engaged, which I am partially visual like all of us. And again, unless you're blind, you do learn visually in some capacity. But I'm also engaging the other parts of my brain that are much better at assimilating that information just doing this on my own. And it really helps me to adapt to any teacher and any teacher's teaching style. Now, I think one of the hardest things is for visual learners to work with a teacher who is unable to demonstrate. I have been that teacher when I was going through my knee surgery and everything, and it was really hard to watch my students have a hard time learning because I just couldn't do that for them. So what you can do is this is hard, but as you are listening to the teacher say the combination or kind of mark it a little bit, you can actually be doing it with your body in like a pretty significant mark, almost full out. That might help you get the feeling of what they're saying into your body, or you could also watch yourself in the mirror doing it almost full out. That might help. It might be distracting though. I'd say that is probably one of the biggest gaps that's hard to fill if you're a visual learner without a visual teacher, but it can be done. I would probably recommend, like I said, engaging that kinesthetic way of learning if that's what's happening. Okay, step 5, lastly, address your mindset. You know, when I got up on my little soapbox a minute ago and I said, this is why mindset is so important, I actually am living proof that if you have, especially a teacher who tears you down, or maybe you're tearing yourself down and you really believe, oh, I'm just not a fast learner, I'm a slow learner, that becomes an identity that you hold on to that really tells your subconscious mind to follow the command of that belief. Seriously, if your perspective is, I'm a slow learner, your perspective is also going to feed back to you all the reasons why you're a slow learner. You're going to start to have more anxiety around situations where you're expected to learn quickly. It is so important to then switch that to a positive belief. That's what I came from. That's why I say I'm a living example. I had a teacher who made me actually believe, well, I believed on my own volition after being around her that I had a learning impediment, and I became terrible at picking up combinations. It took me a while to get over this until I realized that's not me. That was just the environment I was in that was affecting me that way. Now, I have a very positive belief about my ability to learn quickly and to retain information, which makes me way more receptive to just trusting my gut, trusting that I know what I'm doing. And that flow allows the movements to come out exactly, mostly, as they were taught to me. So addressing your mindset is critical. It might not be a negative belief you have about being a slow learner that's holding you back. It could be self-esteem issues. If you're having a lot of negative self-talk in your head, that is going to be so distracting to the point where you do not have the capacity to learn quickly. That's why I want to extend the invitation to you to work with a therapist, work with a mindset coach like me, work with someone who can actually help you from a professional standpoint to start switching that identity around, letting go of those limiting beliefs, getting your confidence back up to a place where you can actually do what you're capable of doing. Because honestly, you guys, those negative emotions, the limiting beliefs, the limiting identities that we hold for ourselves put a cap on what we're able to do compared to what our potential really is. And so if you want to keep that cap on, keep suffering, y'all. But if you're ready to actually step into the confidence that is available to you and you are fully capable of having and totally allowed to have, then reach out to someone like myself. I'd be happy to talk with you. And if we were to work together as me as your coach, you as my client, we could definitely switch that story around and get you into confidence like you've never had before. So there's that, you guys. Thank you again, okballet.com, for sponsoring this video. And I would love to hear from you in the comments. Did this help you? after you go and try these tips for yourself. I'd love to hear some success stories. You could also reach out to me on Instagram at TwinTalksBallet. I always love getting a message about how some of these tips have helped you. Share this with your friends because I think it could really benefit any and every dancer, even if you already feel like you're good at learning quickly. So yeah, that's really it. I hope you guys have a blessed week and I will see you next week. Bye.